one of the things we need to have behind our mind to sustain our career is the awareness, of the environment, awareness of what is going on within the local and the global space. So we'll look into that today. But before I start, I'd like to get a sense of the people that I have here. So please, okay, we have 17 participants. It would just be nice for you to put in the chat box your name. If you are currently working in an HR role, and how many years HR experience do you have? Very quickly, in 5 minutes, I'd like to read comments from everyone, your name, brief introduction, your name, and your HR experience. How many years do you have in HR experience? So it would help me understand my audience and see how I can ensure whatever information we are sharing today is relatable to you all. Okay. So please type in your name and how many years HR experience that you have. If you don't have any, it's okay to put in 0, okay? So guys, send in chats your name. Okay, Perpetual, 5 years in recruitment, awesome. Omolara, wow, that's my middle name. Nice to meet you. 3 years plus in HR. Nice to meet you. Please put in your name. Let's make it as interactive and as fast as possible so we can all learn. Adebayo, 4 years experience as HR generalist. Awesome, nice to meet you, Adebayo. Who else again do we have? Okay, Chiwendu, Chidi, nice to meet you. How many years of experience do you have? Mayowa, 5 years plus, good. Okay, Chidima, 3 years plus in HR. Omotayo, 2 years in HR, recruitment consultant. Great to meet you. Wow. We have amazing people online today. Moses, 3 years in HR. Ladipo, 5 years in HR, performance management specialist. Fantastic. Amy, how many years in HR do you have? Please specify. Chinwe, 3 years. Awesome. Awesome. What else? We have about 17 of us on the call. Okay. Okay. Otiwa, nice to meet you. I have 5 years in HR as employee relations officer. Awesome. Ngozi, 5 years in HR. Nice to meet you, Ngozi. Okay. Temi, 3 years in recruitment. Nice to meet you, Temi. Okay. All right. Nice to meet every one of you. From the assessment that I see online here, we are predominantly people who are early years in HR, of course, transitioning further growing their career in HR. Thank you. Nice to meet you all. Okay, I believe as the others join, they will drop their names and years of experience they have in HR. All right, so this evening, I'm going to talk about myself. This is just a brief intro about me. I read biochemistry in school. A bit about my career. I was growing up as a little girl. I wanted to live my parents' dream. My mom wanted me to be a doctor. And on that note, I thought living my mom's dreams would help me find a fulfilling life, especially when it comes to career. Eventually, I ended up studying biochemistry, not medicine. And 1 year into my youth call, based on my course of study, I was in the laboratory, and I realized that my work was routine. 1 year down the line, I became very dissatisfied with my work because I wasn't finding fulfillment in that. And that was the point where I realized that for me to progress further in my career, I need to be clear what my purpose and my vision is. We'll talk about that later. Having said that, I transitioned into HR.
Sorry for barging in. I think there's a Mayowa who is unmuted. Mayowa, please. We need you to mute. We need Mayowa Kindeji to mute. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think the sound has stopped. Thank you. All right, so.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, Mayowa. Okay, still talking about my HR career. I got my first job after NYC as an admin officer. Was that the career I wanted for myself? No. However, I had a plan. We'll talk about that later on. I took on the role as an admin officer with a plan to transition into HR. And I realized that after I got into my admin role, I gave it my all, I gave it my best, and I built relationship internally. And when it was time for me to move to HR was when there was vacancy in HR and I was considered for that role. We'll talk about that when we look at career planning. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is me. Outside of work, if I'm not practicing HR, I'm still building my career, because career for me is not just a job title or a role that we all occupy. Career is your purpose. Career is gaining clarity. So career for me is HR gives me an opportunity to impact people and organization. HR gives me an opportunity to help people achieve goals, organizational goals. So you need to be clear about why you're in HR first and foremost. So part of my career too is coaching. I've been coaching for about 7 years now, and I realized that coaching also helps me to impact people and move people from their current state to their desired future state. I'm very aware of my strengths, and that is why if you look at my profile here, I've highlighted what my key strengths are. I'm very strategic naturally. I'm a very strong relationship person. I love to execute and I love to influence positively. And recently, still in alignment with what I want to achieve around impacting people, I recently authored a book, my HR storybook, the first ever innovative storytelling book that also serves as mentoring guide as well. So if you look at my life, I've lived my life intentionally, and I'm hoping that today I'll be able to share some of the things that I've used has worked for me, so you all can, learn from it and take out of it to design your career. Okay, so we'll move to the next slide. Someone is writing, please. Okay, so when we talk about career, what do we mean? Like I had mentioned earlier, career is not just a job role or a job title. I know we have the definition here. Career is an occupation undertaken for a specific period of a person's life with opportunity for progress. If you can see the picture here on the screen, we see someone standing and we see a future. So career is having their clarities. It's where do you want to be? A lot of times when we go for interviews, we get asked the question, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Have we all been asked that question in the past? Just type in yes in the chat pod. If we ask that question, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Just type in yes. And we're HR people, are recruitment consultants. I'm sure we all, as recruitment consultant, we get to ask people a lot of times, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So my next question is, why do we ask people these questions? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Why? Can anyone type in the chat box? Why do we ask people? Why do we ask candidates? Why do we ask potential candidates, or potential employees? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Why? Why do we ask people that question? Anyone want to share? Please type in. Let's make it as interactive as possible. Or if you want to go on mute so you can talk, please feel free as well. So let's make it interactive. Why do
if you want to talk, let us know.
Fantastic. To have an idea of their career development. Awesome. Thank you, Mayowa, for that. Oladipo, to get an insight into developmental plans and career aspirations of the candidates. Awesome. Anyone else? Awesome. Thanks, Oladipo and Mayowa. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? This is like a cliche question that all recruiters ask candidates. And I'm sure the response candidates gives us it's part of also what informs our decision as an organization to hire that candidate or not. Anyone else? There are just 2 responses. Anyone else? Let's make it as interactive to see if they are fantastic organizational fit. Sure, true, true, good, good. Now, everyone is right. And the reason why we all ask this question during interview is to understand their aspirations, to understand their plans, like Oladipo had stated in the chat box. Overall is to understand their sense of purpose, If you are interviewing, we talk about organizational fit, we talk about culture. And that is also important because culture is, you want to see, does this person fit or does this person align with the way we work in our organization? The whole essence of that is to understand their sense of purpose. So I'm going to throw this back to us as HR people. What is your purpose? Why are you in HR? Why are you in HR? What is that reason? Are we in HR because, oh, I like interacting with people? I get a lot of that from people when they say, I want to be in HR because I like interacting with people, or I want to be in HR because I like the way HR people dress, or I want to be in HR because I like the way HR people have command and influence on people. So my question to all of us today is, why are we in HR? It's important for us to retrospect and understand, why are we in HR? If you need to be able to answer that question. Because for me, HR is not just, like I mentioned, a job title or a role. HR has to be with a purpose. HR has to be with a reason, with intention, with a plan, with a vision, you know, and that way it's going to really help you to lay the right foundation for you to be in HR. And I tell people, HR is not just, oh, I'm a people person. Atinuke can attest, being in HR can also be one of the most difficult role within an organization, especially when you have to make some difficult calls, you know, within the organization. Fantastic. P said, I'm in HR to help organization and employees fulfill purpose. Fantastic. So your purpose have to be clear, first and foremost, for your career, right? So HR is just a role. The first is your career purpose. And your career is that future that you see ahead of you. HR is just a vehicle. HR is just an enabler that takes you into that future. My purpose for the purpose for oh, sorry, I think I got muted. Sorry, I got muted at some point. What was the last thing you heard? I got
we
muted.
Can hear you now. Sorry, Lara. You were talking about purpose, defining purpose.
Sure. Yes, fantastic. Defining your purpose for your career first and foremost, right? If you are able to define your purpose, then you look at your role as HR and see, how does my role in HR enable me to achieve my purpose, right? How does my role as HR enable me to contribute meaningfully to my purpose? If your purpose is to help organizations through people, that way, as HR people, we are more intentional with our role, and we are more purposeful, most especially with the kind of deliverables we deliver at work. Where I worked before Accenture for 11 years, the company's mission was to continue to make the world a better place. That was all our vision was. So you as an individual, as an HR person, you look at your purpose and you try and create an alignment with the vision of the organization. My purpose was to impact the world. And here I have an organization that is continually improving the way the world works and lives. It synced into my purpose. The more reason why I was able to stay in Accenture for 11 years. Before I joined Accenture, I'd worked at DHL, I'd worked at HCDC. Accenture was my third organization. And I made up my mind I was just going to do maybe 4 years in Accenture. But when I got into the Accenture, I realized that it clicked entirely into my purpose and sense of being. I ended up spending 11 years. And trust me, by the time it was 11, I didn't even know it was 11. I was still enjoying my career in that organization because my sense of purpose aligned with the purpose of that organization. That is important. The next thing that we also need to understand with our career is progress. Are you making progress? Now, a lot of times people say, oh, they did not promote me. In as much as promotion is an indication for progress, please don't get me wrong. Assess yourself individually. Are you developing? Are you growing within your role in HR? That is very important. Because as human beings, we get to a point where we no longer feel challenged. And at that point, we might begin to lose our sense of purpose for that role that we are in. You might begin to feel, oh, I don't feel challenged anymore. I don't feel stretched anymore. Am I still aligned with my sense of purpose on this role? So progress is key. And I always tell people that your progress is your responsibility within the organization. If you find your role is mundane or is routine, look for ways to build new skills and stretch yourself, especially in the 21st century with a lot of evolution happening in the HR space. I got into Accenture with my Excel skills, and I'm going to share my story. I'm going to do a lot of story sharing so that it would help me relate this to everyone. So I was living with my uncle. My parents were based in Ibadan. So I grew up in Ibadan, but did my university in Lagos. So I was staying with my uncle.
Yes, so that's another touch point. I and Lara grew up in Ibadan.
Yes, so so I was saying my uncle then, who was an accountant, so he would come home with Excel trainings and accounting material, and I picked up interest in Excel because I'm very analytical. I love data. That was one thing that I was able to pick up on time, and I'll touch on that. So, understanding your sense of purpose, you need to understand what your core strengths are and your skills are, but we'll talk about that later on. Okay, so he would come home with Excel training materials, and out of curiosity, okay, Ayeni, school in Ibadan, yay! Thanks, Ayeni. And I got curious. I was self-learning myself in Excel. I was self-training. I would borrow his laptop. I didn't have a laptop then. It was a desktop he had also. I'll borrow it. I will learn Excel on my own, even though I was in HR. Then one day, a friend of ours, Baya Yotade, Tonike knows him, used to work in Accenture then. And I'd always loved to work in Accenture. I'd sent my CV to a consultant in Accenture, but I never heard back from him. Baya Yotade was in HR in Accenture. So the day Baya Yotade chatted me up and asked, do you have strong Excel skills? I said, yes. He said, okay, there's a role in HR. You'll be invited for an assessment. Okay, so that's fine. Even though I was still self-learning and teaching myself Excel, I got invited by Accenture for an Excel test. It was an HR analyst role, but was an Excel test. And normally in Accenture, the assessment process entails GMAT questions and all of that, not Excel. But my case was peculiar. So I went in for that assessment and I read Excel. I'd never been taught. It was just self-learning. So I did my Excel assessment and I passed. Now, guys, when opportunity meets preparation, then success is guaranteed. When opportunity meets preparation, success is guaranteed. I had prepared myself, even though I didn't know when I was going to need my Excel skills, but I had prepared myself. And when the need came, because I was prepared, the opportunity came, and trust me, I passed that assessment. I used to tell people, I am not sure if I was giving the GMAT assessment into Accenture if I will pass. I wasn't sure. And I was very sure that I most likely will not pass Because when I got to HR and I saw the GMAT questions, I was like, oh wow, if they are giving me this assessment, I'm sure I wouldn't have passed, because the pass rate then was very low. Anyway, so I got into the organization based on my Excel skills and competences. And it was because they needed someone to manage payroll then. So I managed payroll. And over the years, I realized that, okay, Excel skills was evolving as well. I realized, okay, I need to move my basic Excel to advanced Excel, which I later on did. And from there, analytical. And today, I do PowerPoint. I do dashboard and all of that. So you need to understand what your skills are and build on that. So progress for me is developing yourself on a continual basis. Then you understand your desire and choices. Do you desire to advance your career? But you need to be clear what your wish are and what your choices are. If you are an HR or you're a recruitment consultant and you want to transition into being an HR director in the future, you need to be clear what your desires are and what choice you have. And of course, in your choices, you need to be deliberate, and you need to be specific in terms of the future timelines and events that needs to hold within that period. So that's on career. Let's move on to the second session. Okay, now career planning is very, very important. Like I'd mentioned, if you're going to plan your career, you're in HR, first and foremost, know yourself. What are your top strengths? You know, what are the areas in HR that are really good at? For me, like I'd mentioned, I'm very analytical. I'm big on relationship, and you need to be self-aware. Now, in understanding yourself, there's a place for you to also have key emotional intelligence skills. Emotional intelligence has been recorded as one of the key skills of the 21st century, even as confirmed by the World Economic Forum. As part of the key skill, we must have emotional intelligence, because in knowing yourself, you need to be able to lead yourself before you're able to lead others. And we've had so many stories of HR people who sort of do not have the right, because we go on social media now and we see a lot of comments on people returning the human back to the HR. You know, it's just over there. But I always say to people that HR people cannot give what they don't have. The expectation is we need to treat people nicely, treat people as human, like they say, but we cannot give what we don't have. And that is the place of self-discovery as HR professionals. For you to navigate and succeed in your career, you need to be self-aware. You need to self-discover yourself. You need to reassess yourself. You know, because you get to a point in your career that you will be faced with a lot of challenges. But what the opportunity and the opportunity that you have and the strength to be self-aware is what will guide you. And your HR people, we can tell that a lot of times we have one or two unpleasant experiences, especially with HR people, and those experiences stay with us for a long time. So if you've had one or two unpleasant experience with a supervisor or with a boss, just put yes, yes, yes in the chat board. I need to know that everyone is still with me. You know, if you had one or two unpleasant experiences with a supervisor, you know, that wasn't very nice to you, please put yes, 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 yes in the chat board. Yes, good, good. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. I remember there was a time in one of my past organizations that I'd worked, I went on mat leave and I came back, and the question everybody was asking me is, how are you coping with the HR manager? How are you coping? What? You know? And the truth of the matter is, people sort of remember the unpleasant experiences more than the pleasant experiences. So human mind naturally, you know, the not so nice experience that we have is usually what sticks with us. Now, my point here is we need to change the narrative. As a new generation of HR, for us to succeed and navigate our career, we need to change the narrative. I've also had experiences with bad boss, but when I became a supervisor, I took a decision that I was not going to lead people the way I was led. So we have the choice to change things and to treat people nicely. They say return the H or the human in human resources. It's our role to ensure that we do that. One of the key skills that will help us is emotional intelligence. We cannot overemphasize the need for emotional intelligence, especially in this age and time. Your generation is young. Now we have a new set of generation, Gen Z and co coming up. The way you need to manage them would be hinged on your ability to have very strong emotional intelligence skills. I mean, I have 3 children, and the way I manage my children was not the way I was managed. Kole walk, in those days, who are you to question your parents? Kole walk. But now, here you are, you are being questioned for everything. You are telling them this instruction, they're asking you, mommy, why? And you have to give them logic, reason, and explanation. So the need for us to upskill and ensure that we have the right tool is important. Then we need to learn to explore possibilities. Even though you're in HR and you're managing within your space, always ask for opportunity to do more or to do things outside of HR. I'm at a point in my career now that I realize that for me to go to the next level as head of HR, I don't need HR skills to move to the next level. No, I don't, not anymore. I need core business skills right now. So right now, I'm in a manufacturing industry. Guys, I'm not even learning HR anymore. I'm learning supply chain management. I'm learning sales, commercial, I'm learning marketing. I'm learning operations, I'm learning production. So it takes me to my point of understand your business. Exploring opportunities will come easily for you when you understand the business that you work in. So that is one of the things that would really help you. Then make a choice. Decide to be different. Dare to be different. Dare to be known for something. Stand for your values. But making a choice is hint on your values as an individual. Stand for your values. Be a person of integrity. Be someone that is hardworking. Be someone that just makes things possible around him or her. So you have a choice to ensure you live exceptionally. Then make it happen. As HR, beyond what you're asked to do, make it happen. I know sometimes we have challenges with the people, with the organization, the culture, the environment might not be favorable. But whatever is within your circle of control or circle of influence, make it happen. Make the possibility happen at all time. Okay. Are we together? I'd like to get a yes, yes. So type in, I will make it happen. I will make it happen. If you're still together, type in, I will make it happen. I will make it happen. Make all possibilities happen within your space. I will make it happen. Fantastic. Thank you, Oladipo, for that. Thank you. I will make it happen. Emmanuel, very good. Yes, yes. So that is us affirming that at all time within our organization. Thank you, Moses. Omolara, Perpetual. Perpetual, welcome. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ayani, thank you. Fantastic. Okay. So the next thing is career assessment. Within your career in HR that you're in, what interests you the most? It's important because as humans, we are geared towards what interests us the most. What interests us the most. What is your personality? Your knowledge of yourself would also help you navigate your career. What are your skills? We are in an age now that certification is good, but more importantly is the skills that you have. How well are you upskilling yourself? Like I'd mentioned, during the pandemic, I've had to upskill myself and refresh my HR data analytics skills because the level of data analysis that I had to do during the pandemic was enormous. Because of COVID-19, we had to disable all our biometrics, all the thumb printing for access into the organization. We had to disable everything as part of our employee awareness plan to ensure our employees are safe during COVID-19 pandemic. So we were left with manually tracking attendance, manually tracking, a lot of things. So we had a lot of data manually. And the only thing that could help me as a strategic business leader was to quickly upskill in terms of data analytics, pulling all the data together, because the machine that would have used to house the data, we had to disable it. So we had Excel to rely on. And of course, what was crucial for us to begin to quickly, as soon as possible, learn how to, analyze our data. So I had to do a quick data analytics refreshment course in May and June, and that helped me bring value to my organization, So in knowing your skill, it helps to bring value to your organization. If your skill is recruitment, that's awesome. But look at other ways and other opportunities that you can bring value with your recruitment skill for the organization. For us, we had to do online onboarding, which we've never done before, but due to COVID-19 pandemic. And for people in recruitment, they had to quickly automate a lot of our forms. Normally you come into the organization, you fill your data form. So we had to quickly, as quickly as possible, automate that. And it was recruitment that led that project. We had to automate. We had to quickly train all our facilitators. We had to ensure that the guys who were coming on board got access immediately to data. There was a lot that had to happen in the recruitment space. So it's no longer business as usual. That's what I tell people, except you don't want to accept it. It's no longer business as usual. Employee relations, in employee relations, how are you managing your employees now that everybody is working from home? Performance management, how are you reviewing, working with line managers to review performance management KPIs and metrics? So it's time for us to look at the skills we have and upskill based on current trend as well. Then you also need to look at what kind of people are you working with. There's a need for us to understand our leadership. There's a need for us to understand our leadership. What is most crucial for the organization? Be aware and ensure that you provide solution in that direction. What sort of environment do you enjoy working in? Environment now is not just your office space. Environment is even your home. It's you finding that spot that makes it very comfortable to be at your best self, that you can be creative even at home or wherever you're working. So it's being intentional, assessing all your environment to ensure that it puts you at your possible best always. I always tell people your potential is limited. There's nothing you cannot achieve, absolutely nothing. However, you need to deepen your HR capabilities in many ways for you to learn and build specialized skills, right? You also need to understand your HR talent segments, because as HR, we are to design and execute strategies and programs, services to attract, develop, and retain talents. Not just retaining talent, we're responsible for keeping them engaged and differentiated as well. So our workforce, we need to ensure that our behaviors align with what the organization needs. I had mentioned that earlier, what is important to your business. For every role of every activity you take, ensure it is in line with your business. It's important for us to begin to understand strategic planning, understand supply and demand of talents. How many people do you need for this role? How many people do you have? Do you have sufficient skill? I was coaching a lady yesterday, and she was talking about, struggling with work demands. closing late and yet not meeting her timelines and everything. But in the process of coaching her, I realized that she's actually handling a 3-man role. 2 people had resigned and she's been the one juggling a 3-man role. And I said to her, you are juggling a 3-man role. How do you expect you will meet your deliverables? Call a work. What 3 people were doing, it wasn't as if they brought some form of automation to help enhance the efficiency of that role, but you were being the one juggling 3 people's role, and you are complaining you are closing late, you are still not meeting your deadline. In reality, call a work, because the supply, which is you on that role, is less than the demand of the role, a 3-man demand, and you are the only supply there. So we need to also understand our talent supply and demand metrics to ensure that we are advising our business properly. And this is where the business will also find value. Your talent acquisition is important. Learn and develop. So these are just basic HR skills, which I believe we all are aware of, but it's important that we are intentional with how we develop this. I would also like to state that your HR foundation is very, very important. You need to deepen your skills. The fact that I had to take an HR analytics refresher course didn't mean that I wasn't aware of the skill. I had done some sort of training in 2015 and I'd used it, but for a while, there was a gap in the usage of that skill. I had to go back. I didn't say, oh, I'm too old to go back and learn HR analytics. Let's leave that for the younger ones. No, I had to further refresh and deepen my skill. So there's a place for HR foundation, deepening your core skills, core knowledge of HR practices, labor law. You have to be aware, because this is what will enable you to navigate your career as you grow in your career. When you have that strong foundational HR exposure, your certification, CIPM. Have you taken CIPM? Those are the things, those are the knowledge that would help strengthen your HR foundation. Then you can later consider specialization in future based on your core area of competencies. You know, then business acumen, I talked about that, the need for us to understand our business, you know, and know what is driving the business. How does our business make money? How are we looking at saving costs for our business? Then creating the right leadership culture as HR. Although leadership is from the top management, but I always say to people, as individuals, we are leaders. As individuals, we are leaders. Create that leadership personality so people respect you more. Be a collaborative HR. You know, we can't say, oh, because I'm in HR, I work in isolation, you know, but you need to collaborate with other members of your organization, with finance, with marketing, with business development, with operation, with production. Sometimes I go into the factory to understand, okay, what's going on in my factory, to have meetings. So be close to your business and collaborate. It's important to have good relationship management, be adaptive as HR. You need to be adaptive. You need to be result oriented. So it's not just about, oh, I'm doing the work, but what is the output? What is the result? Is your result measurable? Does it align with your set KPIs? And of course, your knowledge and idea dissemination is important. For me, that is crucial, which takes me to the future of HR is now. And the future of HR is innovation. What are you innovating in your space? What value? How are you differentiating yourself within your organization? You know, and of course, you're able to be an HR innovator when you understand your skill, you upskill, you strengthen your skill, you have ideas, and of course, you have passion that aligns with your purpose. And it is what will enable you to differentiate yourself. I cannot overstate the importance of mentoring. Mentoring is important. One of the things that helped in my career is mentoring, I must say. Unfortunately, I also had my struggles with mentoring because I had mentors that did not have enough time that I would really love to spend a lot of time with. I realized that I grew up in my career, you know, I progressed in my career, and I had the same issue. I had a lot of people reach out to me to say, oh, Coach Lara, I want you to mentor me. I want you to mentor me. And I always love to mentor because I love to share an impact. Unfortunately, with the current reality of my role and responsibility, I am challenged with mentoring. So I thought to myself, how can I solve this mentoring problem? And that was how the HR storybook came to bear. So my HR storybook is a book, I think I have a copy here. It's a book that I created for HR professionals, not just only HR professionals, to serve as a mentoring guide. In this book, I have the stories of 56 HR professionals, from CIPM president to CIPM vice president to Funke Amobi to awesome HR seasoned professionals who have shared their stories as a form of mentoring guide. So I said to myself, so this is me bringing innovation into HR space, identifying the problem that I want to solve and innovatively thinking, coming up with ideas to solve that problem. So with this book, you have access to learn the story from the stories of senior HR people, right? And in that learnings, you're also designing your own story as well. And mentoring is important. It doesn't replace the need for physical mentoring, but it's a great to have to accelerate your career, right? Networking is important. Networking. Now, I tell people, networking is a lot easier than before. With one chat or one access on social media platform, you have access to a lot of top senior people. You can chat them up at any time. Self-development is key. I've spoken about skills already, and I cannot overemphasize the need for self-development. Okay, so on this note, I want to say thank you, everyone. If you have questions, I'd like it to be interactive. Please feel free to ask me questions. Any question you have regarding navigating your HR career. Thank you, Oladipo. Good food for thought. Innovation is happening everywhere. How are you innovating in your space? Yes. Innovation is happening everywhere. How are you innovating in your space? Thank you. Thank you. Questions. Let's make this interactive. I'm open to receiving questions so we can learn one from another. Thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, dearest Coach Lara. So we are going to coordinate this question session. We are going to be using the raising up of hand mode on our system. So if you want to ask questions, you raise up your hand, then I'll call one after the other. I think one person that his hand has been up for a while is Fadiro Akindeji Mayowa. So you can unmute now, ask your question before I move to the next person.
Okay, Emmanuel Akapo is asking, how can I get your book? So I'll share the link for purchasing the book to you, either for hard copy or soft copy. On soft copy, you can go to okadabooks.com and search for my HR storybook. You would be able to access the soft copy. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Mayo, are you there? Are you ready to ask your question, or I'll move to the next person? Okay. Mayo is not responding. Chineye Ekekenta.
Yes, I'm here.
All
Good
right.
evening, everyone. So thank you so much for the presentation. Although I came in almost when you were rounding up, I was able to get some information. There's a very vital question that keeps bothering me. Sometimes you are in an organization
you feel like
almost like you're stuck. There's no new challenge.
Sorry.
Every knowledge you have. Me now.
Can you repeat that question?
You have to start again. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello.
Oops.
Okay, maybe I should type it. Let me type.
Yes, please type in, please. Yes,
all
okay,
right.
please type in. Okay, so I have a question from Bridget on the chat box. So Bridget says, I'm in the US trying to navigate into the system here. doing a course with Udacity on data analyst. Do you have any tips on what I am to do? Also, is your book on Amazon? Sorry, my book is not on Amazon yet. I've started that process, but I haven't concluded a couple of bottlenecks.
Bridget can help us take it to Amazon.
Yes, please. You can help us. Thank you. So, tips on what to do. Okay, so the first is to understand the environment there. So if you want to navigate into the system here, you're doing data analyst, where will your skills be required? You know, and I think for working outside, working offshore, it's beyond your skill. I think there's a lot that also has to do with your nationality and the kind of visa that you have. But you need to understand what are the kind of certifications that would help you. I know for Canada, there's a lot of emphasis on CBAB, business analysis certification. But for US, you need to understand the kind of certification that is required there, the level of experience that is required, the industry, and of course, the level of skill that you have as well. I know, I don't know how much impact your nationality might also affect your opportunity, but having said that, is you planning intentionally based on the experience and from the research that you do. So you need to do a lot of research. You need to research. It's not just about going to take course on Udacity there to become a certified data analyst. What about the experience? You know, so beyond that, do you have the experience? How do you gather the experience? Is there opportunity for volunteer over there? You know, so you need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of research and ensure that your plan is in alignment with that. Atunike, do you have any contribution to that?
Yes, I will also say she should take advantage of the network that may be available there. So I know Society for Human Resource Management is a big deal in the US. The last 2-3 years, I've been attending those conferences, and I know if you can get yourself within that network, there's a lot of information that flows that, you know, can help you easily launch your career in HR within that space. So I'll advise join that professional group, Society for Human Resource Management, and then you can start leveraging on the connections and relationships you gather there to launch your career.
Thank you. Okay, Chinwe, we're still waiting to read your question. You can type it in quickly.
I think Omena has a hand up. Do you want to talk? Omena, your hand is up.
Yes, I'm in now. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Omena.
Thank you so much, Lara Yeku. I really enjoyed your session. Very insightful. My question is, how do you manage colleagues who don't want to mentor you? Because I had a challenge when I got my first job after NYSC. I started as a front desk officer, but I had a flair for HR, so I started the CIPM program. So I think the head of my unit saw my interest. You know, when he invited me to his office, we had a chat, and he was like, I mean, I feel you can do more than just sitting at the front desk. And when he asked me, okay, what am I doing about my passion? I said, okay, I've started this certification and all. So they moved me from the front desk to core HR. And the people I met there didn't want to show me, they didn't want to teach me the job or mentor me, show me what to do or teach me how to, carry out some of those processes. And also I had a challenge learning, so I don't know, how can I manage such people in the future?
Coach Lara, over to you.
Yes. Unfortunately, that's the reality that we face in the workplace. When you have people who are insecure and they do not want to freely share knowledge, it's a challenge. However, what I can say is that is where emotional intelligence would really help you. Now, is you first and foremost trying to understand, why is this person hoarding this information? Like I mentioned, it can be insecurity. The second is, how do you now respond and not react to that? So when you react is when you're upset and you're feeling, what's wrong with this person? You know, you're upset, and in that way, you're not, the desire to learn is impacted. But it's just the need for you to clearly try and study the person and ask yourself, why is this person reacting this way? Now, there's a place for conversation. For some people, quotes me, for some people you can have direct conversations with and ask, okay, please, I've noticed that it's a bit of a struggle getting this information from me. Please, is there anything you would like me to do differently? Maybe in my asking. It could even be the way you are asking that they don't even like. Maybe she's asking, oh, she's too this, she's too that. It could be. So sometimes having that conversation can help you clear that. I've had a lot of friends who've come back to tell me that they've had to ask that, please, is there a problem here? Can we talk about it? Now, if that person is someone who is open to talk, that can be an approach. However, if the person is someone that is not willing or ready to even talk about it, then you need to learn how they want to be asked to do things. For instance, rather than say, can you show me this, you can present it in a way that makes them feel involved. That, okay, how can I help you achieve this by letting me know what to do? You can say it's still the same question, but you've just been able to present it in a different way, right? How can I help you to achieve this? Or how can you be of help? Please, can you help me to achieve this by showing me how I need to compute this? So you're presenting to them in a way of getting them to help, rather than, can you show me? When you say, can you show me, sometimes I come across as, she wants to take all my knowledge. I need to be the boss here. But if you're presenting in a way of seeking assistance, right? So can you please help me to show me how to compute this? Then that way you're getting to that emotional bit, and this is where emotional intelligence comes to play. You know, so it's you trying to understand them. And sometimes even when you are seeking for their help, you are still, they also might not even be willing to. But human beings are emotional beings. You need to study and understand how people want to be talked to. You know, and it is your place of knowing that it would help you respond and not react. But if you react by saying, oh, this person doesn't want to teach me, mentally, like I mentioned, it's going to affect even how you present yourself. But if you look at it from a point of, okay, let me respond to this person and seek their help regardless, at the end of the day, you still get what you want from them anyway. So you need to focus on the outcome you want to achieve and how you present it to them. With emotional intelligence, it would really help you greatly. I have a boss, there was a time that she never takes any idea from me. She just wants to own it, any ideas and all of that. It was a big issue because I had ideas I wanted to run by her. And I remember when I went for coaching training in South Africa, it was a burden for me. And I asked my coach in South Africa then, and she said, use the questioning technique. And that was what changed it for me. So rather than say, oh, I have this idea, I changed it to a questioning technique. I changed it by using a questioning technique to present my ideas. Okay, what do you think how do you think if we do this differently? Do you see any new change that it might afford us? What do you think? So using the questioning technique is getting them to also shift their thinking already. So, and you will lead that conversation to get them to see things in your own view. So that would help you greatly. I hope you've learned one or two things from that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if I can add a little bit to what Lara said, I think no matter how hard or difficult this person or this set of people may be, there will be people who are their friends in that organization. You can also approach them through their friends, people they have relationships with. So I've been trying to get to talk to so person. What would you think is the best approach? How do you think I can go about it? Or looking for when their guards are down, probably outside lunchtime, or
Yeah.
the person is, taking a stroll, just hang out with the person. I think that has helped me at one time or the other. Just monitor where the person is sitting down in the cafeteria when there was still a cafeteria. I mean, COVID, whether most organizations still operate cafeteria. But outside that work environment, somewhere where you can bond or connect with that person. So they may be intimidated. I don't know the relationship you have with the overhead boss. They may feel, oh, because she knows the boss, somebody who is front desk, they now brought her to come to it. So a lot of things, a lot of political issues can be going on in that space. So you need to make them comfortable. I'm not here to take your job. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to work together. So approaching it, from that emotional intelligence, how Omolara just talked about, look for their friends, try and connect with their friends, or try and connect outside the work environment.
Thank you. We have Chineye's question finally. How can one cope with the expenses in HR certification, knowing that we are not well paid, especially when new opportunities keep requesting for those certifications? Now, Chineye, it has to come with planning. It has to come with planning. So you need to look at how much are you earning currently and how can you plan and save for your certification. I tell people your certification is an investment into your future. I've had to even save and pay a lot for coaching because I know that it is me preparing myself for my future. So in as much as you might not have the money now, but you can plan it. You can plan it, you can put it into your budget, and you can give yourself timeline. So certifications come in circles. So it doesn't mean if you miss one certification 1 month, then you do not have opportunity next month. So if it's CIPM, I know we run 2 diets, right? So you need to think ahead and plan it. How much do you need to save? And in planning, it will come with some sacrifices, to come with some sacrifices. Maybe you might need to give up, it can be anything, give up. Maybe in the past, I've had to sacrifice 1 meal, 1 meal to be able to meet, a savings target in the past. This is me anyway, but you need to look at your expenses. What are the things that you can cut down on to be able to save for your certification? That would really, really help, because the truth of the matter is, yes, it's expensive, but it's an investment that we need to make to prepare us for our next level. And on the long run, once you get promoted or you get another role, they would ask for this certification, and this would be a determinant when you get promoted. So see it as some form of investment. Emmanuel Akako, how can one get to be mentored by you? Atinike, we'll have to discuss that, and Atinike will get back to you on that mentoring.
Okay.
Moses, yes, your story is very impactful. Can't wait to get my hands on your book. Thank you. Atinike will share the link to my book in the platform. I have good understanding of Excel. So fantastic. That is one valuable skill you've got there, Moses. Can you advise on how can I become an HR data analyst? So Atinike would also share that. I did my refresher with Any Pro Academy, and they have HR data analyst training or certification coming up, I think end of July/August. So Atinike will share that in the group with everyone as well. Okay. All right, so it's 7:14. Is there any other question? The absence of any question. Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Tinuke. I'm grateful. Thank you everyone for sparing your time to listen to me. I'm honored, I'm humbled by this. And what I would advise everyone is, guys, hang in there. Even though there's a lot of uncertainty out there, you need to ensure you keep your mind positive. Success starts from the mind. If your mind can see it, if you can dream it, you can become it. Regardless, keep your mind positive at all times and trust yourself that your next level is going to come sooner than you think. One of the things that has helped me in my career progression is is me believing in myself. Even when there was a time I had low confidence, I couldn't speak in meetings, you know, but I kept believing myself that now you can do this. And I kept developing myself in the line of my self-belief. So anything you can dream of, you can become it. Thank you, everyone. Keep being you.
Thank you.
Grow our profession. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And have a
Thank you
productive.
so much. Thank you so much, Lara. I'm sure Lara will make the slide available to us so that we can share it on the platform. As is our practice, after now, I'm going to tell us to do a debrief when we get back to the platform. I'd like to know what your key takeaways are, because it's one thing for people to attend webinars, to attend training sessions, and then they, oh, I liked it, oh, I enjoyed it, oh, it was fantastic. Okay, what's your action plan? What do you want to do as a result of what you have learned? So I'm going to be asking for that information from us all, and I'll be sharing with Coach Lara. I think that will be part of what anybody who wants her to mentor them will start from there, to know what your career goals are, what your career plans are. Because if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a goal, it's difficult to work with that kind of person. So thank you so much, Lara. If I'm going to close this career discussion journey, Lara, I mean, she talked about how she entered Accenture. I remember my final year, I think probably when I was just about to enter, I think after NYSC, and I was thinking of my next career move. What do I want to do? I've always loved consulting. In my mind, consulting, I love consulting. So I think Accenture was one of the very prominent ones back then. So I mean, now all things, probably you guys have access to the internet, mobile phone, and then the cyber cafe. I think I will enter cyber cafe to go and do, apply for jobs, go on, know what's going on, especially when you're in Ibadan. So I think I've started my master's in Ibadan, and I need this master's. My dad is a professor, so immediately I finished NYC. Instead of waiting for a job, just go and start a master's. I studied agroeconomics on undergraduate level. So just go and do your master's, Before I knew it, I collected UI form. He had done the enrollment. So I had no choice. I just started the MSc program. All I knew is that I knew, this is not what I want. Daddy, you want me to do master's? I will start it, but this is not me. My focus was, I knew what I wanted. So every little break we had in class, I'll run across, there's a shopping complex in front of you, I call that door. I'll run to the shopping complex, go to cyber cafe, start my job search. I said, I need to get a job. I need to know what goes on in the employment space. From academics, even if I want to do masters, let me do a masters I can appreciate. Let me do a masters I can get value for. So right now, I need to know what's going on within the work environment. So I think then this Accenture boss thing came all over my hand. I said, Accenture, that's right. So I did a little bit of research, because I got one guy online that I saw work there. His name is Akin Salo, if I remember. So I packaged my CV. I sent him an email that, I've just finished school and I'd like to start my career within the consulting space. I'm very passionate about consulting. Please let me know if there's any opportunity within Accenture. I'll be so delighted, blah, 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 blah. Then the first shocker came that I didn't plan for. Because at times when you meet some bottlenecks on your career journey, if you don't know that people also experience such, you may think it's just all about you. You think you're unfortunate. Yeah. The guy was very kind enough, responded to my email, and he said, "Oh, Tinuke, thank you for your mail. I really appreciate it. But I've looked at your CV, and I've seen that you had a 2-2. So in Accenture, we only take 2-1. We only take 2-1 in Accenture." Thank you very much. Thank you for your response. I'm even very happy you responded to my mail. And I said, oh God, and I want to do consulting. This 2-2 thing. So that thing was at the back of my mind. Lara's first job was admin. My own first job too was a sales job, commission-based job within that same organization. So we all have, we all like, we've experienced anything we may be experiencing right now. So at the end of the whole thing, I abandoned that master's, that my daddy's master's. I got a job in Lagos, a sales job that they were going to be paying me. I think it was even transport that was guaranteed. Every other one is dependent on sales. If I decide to sit in Ibadan, JJ, my daddy was always giving me, every week, he gives me, I think, about 5,000 pocket money. I will sit down at home, be eating free food, and have pocket money. And now when I decide to go to Lagos, to go and collect a sales job that guaranteed is, I think, 5K monthly transport allowance, and every other thing you want to earn will be based on what you sell. Foolish. Yeah. Of course it did. Commission. But, I knew what I wanted. I knew I needed to get out of that environment to see what was going on in that space. And learn something. It's just learning how to sell. Network will come. The Accenture thing came. I moved on from there. I didn't let it deter me. When opportunity came for PwC, that thing came again. All these big four, all these something. He's only 2-1. He's only this. I just saw the application. We need an experienced manager. They put all the credentials. I said, oh, fine. I saw the 2-1 there. I said, I have the experience. I didn't let that stop me. I applied for the job and I got the job. So later I was now asking them that you people is only 2-1 you want. I didn't have a 2-1. How come you gave me the job? Said, well, for experienced hires, we look at the quality of experience, and then we look at, we can see that you already did an MBA also. So we thought that will, make up for that. So I now thought to myself, at times we just disqualify ourselves in our own little world. Yeah. I could have sat back and said, remember Accenture something years ago. Better don't disturb yourself. So these are some of the things that happen in the course of our career. Don't disqualify yourself. Build that, capability, whether you are looking for a job or not looking for a job. What is the next capability I want to, what's the new skill I want to do? When I decided to do an MBA, in LBS, I was working in LBS, and there was opportunity to do MBA, and I think after about 5 years in LBS, I thought, I've had enough here. I think I need to move. So I started looking for a job. Something just told me, okay, why would you leave LBS and not get an MBA before leaving? Hold on that dream of looking for another job. Get your MBA, then you can launch. So you need to be strategic. You need to have a plan. And that is what Lara has been telling us in the last 30, 45, 50 minutes. What is your plan? What do you want to achieve? You need to develop one and work towards it. Somebody talked about certification cost. That is part of the sacrifice. That is part of having a plan. You plan for it and you work towards it. If you want to do Ashwebi, people save for Ashwebi. So how much more something that will impact your career? So the long and short is that your career is in your hand. That's the slogan in PwC. That is the first thing they'll tell you when you enter PwC. They'll tell you, your career is in your hand. Depending on how far you want to go, it's all about what you want to achieve. Thank you, Lara. It was indeed a pleasure. We'll take the discussion further on our platform, and then we'll get back to you on all the things you've asked. Somebody has asked for the link to our book. Somebody has asked for opportunity to be mentored. We'll get all that information across through the platform. Okay. All right. So it was indeed a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for making time out. Thank you, Lara. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. We can all unmute and say thank you, Coach Lara.
Thank you, Coach Lara. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Lara.
Thank you. Somebody is even singing. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.